Hello, this is Kim Turner, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create a macro called lookup applicants and also a button that is connected to that macro. Now, there is data in this workbook and you should have already hidden it from view. I'm going to show you where you can find it if you want to unhide it. So here on the Review tab, you have the workbook protected. You can click on that icon to unprotect the workbook, and then right-click on the dashboard sheet to unhide the sheets that are hidden. So here in Applicant Sheet is your data, and you can unhide each of these sheets to take a look at the data. So what this macro is going to do is it's going to bring in applicants from this data that are related to the position that you select through your data validation lookup list. Alright, so let's get started with the macro. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the workbook is protected, and you don't need a password. Just clicking on it to protect it and clicking OK should be enough. And that makes it so no one can hide or unhide any sheets or delete sheets. Then we want to protect the sheet, and again, no password. And this is how we want to start before we record the macro. So the macro recorder is on the Developer tab. Now, when you select Record Macro, it's not going to start recording right away. You have to give it a macro name and description. So the macro name and description is the lookup underscore applicants, and we'll give it a short description. Retrieve application data using an advanced filter. And then once I click OK, the recorder is going to start. And you can go as slow as you want. And then the first thing we're going to do is unprotect the sheet. So that's in the Review tab, and click on Unprotect Sheet. Then click on the Data tab, and we're going to do an advanced filter here. So click on Advanced, and we're going to copy to another location. And the range that we're going to filter is on the applicants sheet, and it's actually in a table called applicants. So I'm going to type applicants, which is the name of the table, and it's going to be all records in that applicants list. So I'm going to put #all in brackets, and the criteria range is going to be the position and the stage reached. So that's going to be what is filtered in your table underneath, and you want to copy it to F21 to M21. So you have these headers F21 to M21, and all the data that meets the criteria of the position and stage reach is going to go underneath those headers. So copy to F21 to M21 and then click OK. Now we can go back and protect the sheet. No password, just click OK, and then stop the recorder. So go to the Developer tab and stop recording. Alright, so you can see that the macro that you recorded is here in Macros, Lookup Applicants. And now you need to insert a button. So you'll notice that the insert is grayed out. Well, that's because you have the sheet protected. So unprotect the sheet first, and then go to that Developer tab, and now you can insert your button. So insert and button is the first one on the left. You can hover over it. You'll bring up the cross, and then just click and drag, and it'll bring up a button. And the macro name that we want to assign to this button is Lookup Applicants, so select that. And we don't want it to be called Button 10, so you can right-click on the button and go to Edit Text. And move your cursor. I usually try to delete what's there first. And we're going to call this Retrieve Records. So I'm going to protect the worksheet again. And lastly, we're going to go into the VBA language, and we're going to add a pop-up message once the records have been retrieved. Okay, so to go into the VBA, we go to the Developer tab, and we want to go into the VBA of the macro itself. So go to Macros and then have Lookup Applicants selected, and then go to Edit. And that'll get us behind the scenes of the macro. So here we are, and what we want is a pop-up right before the end. And so this is programming language, so I'm going to go to the end of the row above it and just hit enter and then try to backspace. And we're going to put our language here and write it exactly how it says to write it, with all the spaces. Okay, so you have to be real careful when you type out the program because it looks at every space and every quotation, and I want it to be right above end sub. So I'm going to delete all of those spaces. All right, so once you have that, I like to hit save, and then you can X out of that screen. Okay, and now we can test our macro. So I want to select, say, Technical Writer and Applied. And then I'll hit retrieve records. It tells me 24 records have been found, and this pop-up is from the VBA language that we added. So click OK, and now let's check the data that was brought in. Yep, the position is technical writer and the stage reached is applied, and there's 24 records from the data. Alright, so now it's your turn to try. Create your macro, add a button in your sheet, add language to the VBA by going to the macro and going behind the scenes, edit, and then test your macro by clicking on your button.